Alright guys, so Honor just launched the brand new X9d that looks a little like this, and this is supposed to be one of the most durable smartphones that you can get for under 1,500 ringgit. Now in today's video, we're not just going to explore the durability section of this device, but we're also going to find out if this phone is actually usable for that kind of price point. For 1,500 ringgit, what are you really getting here? Well, let's find out. Now, first things first, let's jump into the durability segment because it's actually quite impressive over here. Now, Honor actually brought us to a really interesting test session where we saw the phone really being abused, and let's just start off with the kind of rating that it has. So the phone itself is SGS rated for gold standard triple protection. Now, the three stuff here refers to your drop resistance, your water resistance, as well as your dust resistance. So this device actually passed a 2.5 meter drop test, and I actually brought it outdoors to do an actual drop test to see how it would fare. Oof. Let's go. This is really high. A little bounce over there. Very, very nice. No scratches whatsoever. 170 cm. Face down, slight bounce. Looking good. Bam, nice. Okay, there's a couple of sand and stone. Over time, I got a bit carried away and I just started throwing the phone on the floor. So we have a nice sliding, you know, woo. Wow. Okay, you shouldn't do this at all, but ta-da! Now moving on, just in terms of the IP rating, this is one of the first devices to be rated IP66, 68 as well as 69K. Now 69K might be something really new to you guys because this is actually an industrial kind of grading. Now what it can actually achieve is actually very impressive because it can actually be protected at water depths of up to 6 meters. That's really, really deep. Furthermore, it can also resist high temperatures of up to 85 degrees Celsius, and that includes splashes, rinsing, as well as immersion. And what I found most impressive is that it can actually survive 30 days being submerged in 1 meter of water. Now moving on to the dust side of things, there's actually a drainage system over here that actually tries to push them out, and we actually got to witness them in the demo. Now it's not just the body and the frame, the display at the front is also extremely scratch resistant. When it comes to scratches, we actually had an air staples, and we actually have people stapling directly onto the screens itself, and it also held up well. So overall, you don't have to do these tests at home. This has already been done at the labs. Anyway, Honor is also well aware that sometimes accident can happen, and they're actually providing you with a 365-day front and back crack protection. So you're covered in that sense. It's also covered for liquid damage for a year, and I think this is something that not many manufacturers out there actually offer. Alright, now another cool thing about this device is, although it is quite slim, it's actually housing one of the largest batteries I've ever seen in a smartphone, at least here on the channel. The battery in here is rated at 8300 mAh, and honestly, that is huge. So you can expect definitely at least 2 days of battery life on a single charge. Again, this is subjective to what you do on your phones. If you are a hardcore gamer, maybe 1.5 days. But if you're just a casual user, or maybe you're using this as your spare phone, 2 days, or maybe even 3 wouldn't be too much of a stretch. Alright, so that's just in terms of the durability segment. But now I want to move very quickly and talk a bit about how it feels like to use it. And I want to start off by talking about the design. This time around, we actually have a couple of colors. I have 3 colorways with me, and they all look very nice. I actually like the design very much, particularly for one point, and that's because everything is flat. Notice that the back panel is flat, the frame is flat, and the display at the front is also a flat display. Now I know this will make a lot of gamers out there very happy because you can actually game quite nicely with the Snapdragon 6 Gen 4 chipset. This is actually way more powerful than its predecessor. Now back to the display, just in terms of numbers, you're getting a 6.79-inch OLED display that refreshes at 120 Hz. Furthermore, peak brightness maxes out at 6000 nits, and I did actually try this device out under the sun, and at all times, I could definitely see the display very clearly. Another thing that you should also know is that it also comes with a 3840 Hz PWM dimming, so if you're watching a lot of videos, which you probably will do so on this phone because of the huge battery life, it won't cause too much discomfort to your eyes. Now speaking about watching videos, do you know that the dual speakers on board the Honor X90 can go all the way up to 400% of maximum volume? That's higher than the previous gen. And if you are a gamer, you would also appreciate this because you could hear all the footsteps in COD. Like I was hearing everyone just walking behind me, even my teammates and the opponent as well. So the speakers on here do get very loud. Now finally, I did not forget about the sensor at the back. Now what you actually get here is a 108 megapixel main sensor that comes with OIS, as well as EIS. Now, I actually found the pictures taken by the phone itself to actually be quite good. Not only were the pictures looking very sharp with minimal noise, which is something that I don't see a lot in Honor's more affordable devices, but it was able to shoot the golden hour very, very well. Furthermore, I took it further and put it underwater just to see how it performed in terms of video, which you can see on your screens right now. I think it did a pretty good job, and it can also take normal videos very, very well. So it maxes out at 4K 30 FPS. I did wish it come with 4K 60, but for now, 4K 30 or 1080 60 is what you can get. Anyway, that pretty much sums up my very quick take on the Honor X9d. Not only are we seeing Honor moving forward and giving us even more protection with our smartphones, you get a pretty good camera, very strong battery life, this really nice design. You also have that chipset which has been improved from last gen, so quite a fair bit of good things going for it. In fact, Honor is making the deal even sweeter with their pre-order promo. Apparently, they are giving away a free tablet, obviously while stocks last, if you actually put down a pre-order for the Honor X9d. You also get the front-end battery 65-day crack protection, which I mentioned earlier, 1+1 year of extended warranty, and that liquid warranty and all that. So yeah, all this stuff is to give you the peace of mind that your phone will actually hold up to those extreme situations. Now with that said, if you have any further questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. The comment sections are always open for you to ask questions. Ask me anything if you need help. Thank you once again for watching today's video all the way to the end. Hopefully it has helped you out in a way or another, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.